This week's Parsha VaYeira starts with God's visit to Avraham on the third day after Avraham's circumcision. Avraham is then visited by three angels. Part of their mission was to relay the good news that in 1 year's time Sarah will give birth to a boy. Upon hearing the news, Sarah reacted by laughing to herself, asking, "How is it possible?" At this, God confronted Avraham and asked him about Sarah's laugh, saying, "Is anything too wondrous for God?" If this was such joyous news, why would Sarah laugh, seemingly in disbelief? The Rambam understands this episode in accordance to his general understanding of a mortal encountering the divine. It all occurred in a prophetic dream. As such, the Rambam would hold that everything that the Torah describes that happened in this paragraph only occurred in a prophetic dream. This includes God's visit to Avram, the three angels, etc. It would also mean that Sarah's laugh and reaction occurred in Avram's prophetic dream and never actually happened. That would mean that it was Avram who dreamt of Sarah's laugh and reaction to God's good news. But why would Avram have dreamt that Sarah laughed seemingly in disbelief in reaction to the good news? Perhaps Avram felt guilty that he himself had laughed. When God changed Sarai's name to Sarah, God told him that he would father a son with Sarah. In reaction, Avram had laughed to himself, yet God had not rebuked him for it. As such, perhaps Avram dealt with it by externalizing his guilt for laughing to someone else and accepting the rebuke that should have come. All in all, an interesting avenue for the Rambam to take, giving us much to think about. Most other commentators, however, do not agree with the Rambam's approach and believe that this paragraph did in fact actually happen in real life and not as a prophetic dream. So why would Sarah laugh seemingly in disbelief? Sforno says that Sarah misunderstood who had come to visit. She thought that the three men who were in front of them were at best prophets. As such, they were not transmitting the word of God, but were merely blessing them to have a child. Sarah reasoned that a mere blessing can't go against the laws of nature and turn back the clock. As such, she laughed in disbelief, asking herself if it really is possible to go against nature now that she was way past her childbearing years. Malbim takes a slightly different approach. He comments that at the time of the Brit Ben HaBetarim, Avram had already told Sarah the good news, and also now when her name had been changed from Sarai to Sarah. She believed it and was looking forward to it. However, despite the promises, as of yet, no physiological changes had occurred within her body that would indicate that she could now conceive. The hoped for and expected changes between the time of the first message and this now second message never materialized. As such, she expressed her disappointment that nothing had happened. In essence, her laugh was saying, "I was waiting for a sign for the word of God to come true. Yet, nothing happened. Not before, not now. Without any change in me, how would it be possible for a 90-year-old woman to conceive and give birth?" Regardless how one holds, it's hard to blame Sarah for feeling this way. It was definitely against the laws of nature, and as God later tells Moshe in Parshat VaYeira, he only interacted with the Avot and Imahot as El Shaddai, which essentially was God working through nature. But this is why Yitzchak's birth needed to happen this way. Only a nation born against the rules of nature would be able to overcome nature's law of nations and be able to withstand the test of time. Shabbat Shalom.